Here we are again in the Tipsy Ripper studio. This is where we used to shoot our podcast, which we need to do a podcast, by the way. We're doing another review. It's a pretty big one, pretty serious. Let me just show you here real quick. If you know what I mean, it's pretty big. Here it is. Pretty big review today, so stay tuned. Okay, so here we have the Badlands Apex 12,000 pound winch. This is probably the biggest one they make. This is like the best one they make, the Apex one. This one has a synthetic rope on it. I'm gonna put this on my Ranger. Just kidding. I'm not gonna put it on my Ranger. This was actually pretty much donated to me just for this video by a good coworker. He's gonna put it on his Blazer. He's got a square body Blazer, a K5. He's a pretty cool guy. He's gonna put it on there. He just wanted me to test it out and do a video on it. If you guys want, we are looking for a winch to put on our car hauler trailer. Or I guess if you go nuts with the comments and the views, I will put one on my Ranger outside. But maybe not this 12,000 pound one, because that Ranger is like maybe 5,000 pounds. But without further ado, we're gonna get into this. Okay, so before we open this up, we're just gonna go over some of the basic stuff here that's about this winch and everything. So it is the Badlands Apex winch. It does have synthetic rope on it, of course, we went over. This, I think, is the, I don't know, maybe the biggest one they make, or not. He got it at Harbor Freight. It's originally $599.99, but he got it on Black Friday sale for $479.99, which is pretty good. It comes with a wireless remote. It has a removable control pack. It has 80 feet of rope. That's quite a bit, 80 feet. I mean, this is a pretty big winch, so it's nice that you have a lot of length to use this capacity of a winch. It's 80% lighter, the rope that they have, than the cable, which that's awesome, and you don't gotta wear gloves trying to, unspool it or reeling it back in real nice. You can just, use your bare hands. Up to you. It's got a cone brake composite disc pads on it to hold the max load of the winch when it is engaged. It has a 50-foot wireless remote to use for wireless spooling to stand out of the way, so you can winch whatever you're trying to winch and stay out of the way of it in case there may be an accident or whatever. And also a 12-foot wired remote control, so that's neat. They give you both options there. It has a dual stage steel drum with mud and dust and waterproof capabilities, which is awesome. The line speed is 31.5 feet per minute. I guess that's kind of fast. I would say, I don't know. I mean, it's probably average. I don't really know a whole lot about winches, but I guess it's kind of fast. It has hardened steel planetary gears in it. It has the oversized hook on the front. We will go over that later. It is compared to the Warn Xeon 12,000 pound winch, but the cost of that is $1,329, which that's, you're having a substantial amount of savings here buying this winch. Even if it does go bad, so what? You could literally probably buy, almost maybe probably legitimately two of these winches for the one Warn winch. And this specifically says it's not for vertical lifting. And the rope on it is a 3/8 rope, also 80 feet of that 3/8 rope. So let's get into it, and we'll get this thing opened up. So if you see here, it actually has the performance specifications on here, which it goes by how much weight that you are putting on the winch. So at the max capacity, it is 4.7 feet per minute, and the usage is 450 amps. And with a zero weight, you're going to need at least 60 amps to run this winch. So that's nice that it gives you a little chart based on your poundage that you're pulling, and it gives you the line speed and the draw of the voltage it's going to need. And then it also gives you the layer of different rated line pull and the cable capacities over on this little chart here, and little specifications. And then over here, it has a little cutaway about the series wound motor, corrosion resistant protection stuff, removable control pack, all that good stuff. And so I know you guys are itching, so we'll get it open. Okay, so when we first open this up, we get this cool guide to winching, which is pretty neat here. It tells you all kinds of different stuff, like the wheel depth and the gross vehicle weight, all that stuff, you know, you got to take into consideration, and even like slope and stuff and grade, angle, blah, blah, blah. Then you come over here to the instruction booklet, which is cool. It comes with all kinds of stuff in it. You got wire connectors, zip ties, your hook, aluminum fairlead, the remote control, stuff like that. And it looks like we have all the hardware in here, bolts and such, to actually mount this winch, but we'll see. And I think these are some sort of dust covers it comes with also. And of course, everybody loves stickers. It comes with lots of stickers. Everybody loves stickers. We got more bolts over here and some wire and stuff. So let's go ahead and open this. Okay, so we got our remote here. I'm not sure if this is the wireless one or not. We're gonna put it to the side because we're probably gonna need that. It's got a zip tie on it. That's neat. We're gonna retain the bag, you know, because we want to make this nice for him when we give it back. We got our big hook. Wow, that thing's heavy. I bet you that weighs like probably 2 pounds. It's big. We'll take it out of the pack here. It's got a nice hook on there. Nice pin on it with a nice cotter pin. I don't know what you call this thing. Not the technical name, but it's got a nice snap on it so it don't come unhooked, obviously. Don't know the technical name. We're going to retain all this stuff again. We got the bolts, big Allen heads, and some more bolts and different connectors of some sort, and wire connectors in there. And we got our cables. This must be for the remote cable. Put that to the side. This looks like a power cable. Go ahead and take this off. Then I can just watch this video in reverse so I know how to put everything back in this box for them. And then we got our fairlead. It's a nice big aluminum. Whoop, what's that? Oh, the thing that goes on the hook. Badlands. That's cool. I like those straps. So this is very nice machined aluminum. Very nice. It's very heavy, very bulky. It's like billet. It's pretty nice. So we'll go ahead and set that off to the side, put it back, because we're not going to need it. We're just going to test this thing out. And then, of course, we have the giant winch in here. This thing is huge. Here's another wire. Looks like our positive, negative terminal. We'll see. What do we got here? A box, it seems like, for mounting your control stuff in. What do we got here? Looks like some sort of mounting plate. Okay. Put that back in there. And we got another cord in here, attached to the winch this time, and a little box of stuff. What's in this box? More stuff. Nice stainless hardware, it looks like. And it looks like we got a master switch here for on and off power that you can put up maybe by your battery or somewhere to turn it on and off with. On, off. That's neat. I like that. So that's what those screws are for there. Go ahead and put that over there. And we'll get this winch up out of here. It is heavy. Oh boy. I bet you this thing weighs like, I don't know, 50 pounds. There we go. Okay. So we got it. Let's just unwrap it neatly without ripping this all the heck. There it is. Voila! We're going to have to cut the rope free from it. Wow. Take this off of there. Okay, so getting a little bit of a closer look here. This thing is like a big rubber grommet, and it kind of snaps in place here like that, and then you can pull it up. Now this is where the on-off switch is here, and then this is where you can put the 12-foot remote in. And here is the gigantic like billet aluminum engage and free spool winch. Now one thing I do know about winches from having side-by-sides is you don't want to have tension on this winch when you go to flip it to free spool, because I had a super winch on my Can-Am side-by-side, and they specifically said that it will shoot a pin through the drum to stop it. So in case, like, you know, you're trying to pull it up a steep incline and somehow this accidentally slams into free spool, while there's tension on this line, it will shoot a pin through the drum. I don't know if that's the case with this one, but you'd think it would be. So we'll just keep that in mind, guys. Anyway, like if you're going to hook it up to something, let a little bit of line out. Make sure there's no tension on it. Then go ahead and flip it to free spool. So let's get this rope cut loose. I got a battery. We're going to hook it up and test this thing out. So another quick thing. This here, this big giant thing that says Badlands on is actually the control box. And to relocate that, based on the directions here, as you can see, motor cover, you take out M6x20 Torx screws to relocate the relocating the control box, optional, which that's what this is. So if you want to do that, keep in mind that's what you're going to have to do. Okay, so one thing you're going to need is a battery to test this out. No, I didn't pull this out of my pickup truck. It's just a spare I have, just in case. So, it comes with the on-off switch here, as you can see. And that's nice. Now, it has these little knockouts in it right here on all four corners. 1, 2, 3, 4. I just took 2 of them out, and the bottom comes right off. These are the screws for them, these little stainless Allen heads, to mount this box somewhere, which that's pretty neat. So, you have to take this power wire here that comes out of the back of the winch, and that is your power wire. So you need to run that to your switch. This short red lead comes from the switch to the power source. So you can put these on either post. You're going to need a 14mm socket for that. Also, down here is your black lead, and you have to get that out of the bag. Here it is. This is your ground. Now, another thing that I noticed, the remote control is also wireless and the wired one. So that is where the cable plugs into the bottom of it. And then, of course, where I showed you before, it plugs in there. Now, there's also an on-off switch on the winch, too. So we're going to see how that works. Let's get this hooked up. And also, it comes with all these nice little booties you can put over the wire, so it keeps your wires nice and clean and mud-free. So another thing to keep in mind, this box here that you get is when you relocate this power control box. This mounts on the winch, as you can see. It actually, if you take the power control box off the top, it makes it much more streamlined to fit in different places. See, you would route the wires into this box here and attach it to the side of the winch, and then run extra wires, which you get lots of extra wires. Here we go, lots of them. And you would route them through this and then up to the control box to relocate this control box. We're not doing that right now. We're just making sure this works. That's cool. They give you that option though, so you can fit this winch in many different places or scenarios. Okay, so to mount this, it does come with like a plate here. I believe it looks like it's gonna fit. Yes. Okay. So it does come with a mounting plate, like a pretty, universal mounting plate here. So it looks like you have to put the nuts up in this hole and bolt it up from the bottom. That is why I assume this plate, sits up from the base a little bit. So you can get the bolts up through and then mount it down so the bolt head's gonna stick out a little bit. But there's nice room in there to put a nut in there. And make sure you get them on there. And then thread the bolt up through. So that's pretty much how you mount it. One more thing I would add is I really wouldn't recommend using this plate to secure this winch, because I really don't think this maybe 1/4-inch steel is going to hold 12,000 pounds. So I would suggest maybe making your own mounting plate to secure this winch. Okay, so a little more information here. This switch here, I was wrong. It's actually for the wireless control. So you have to have that switched on to use the wireless remote. Now this remote, you can see it's on. You have to press and hold the mode button for 3 seconds to turn on and off. And it'll auto off after 2 minutes. So make sure you do that. Remember that. The directions are kind of, I guess, hazy, but so pretty much we got it to work, so let's go ahead and test it out. Okay guys, so we're going to get it to work now. We're going to show you a little tutorial. Instructions in hand, by the way. It's kind of confusing. So we flipped it to free spool, so we're going to head and pull it out a little bit here. It's kind of hard. There's a little resistance against it. You can hear it kind of clicking. So we're going to go ahead and flip it to engage. Go ahead and turn our power on to it on our switch down here. We got it connected to our battery. We're going to go ahead and flip this on. The switch does not light up, by the way. So then we're going to take our remote, hold the mode button for 3 seconds. Now the red light's on. And then we got it engaged, we got that on. So we're gonna go ahead and hit the in button. That's pretty quick. And then here's out. Wow, that's pretty good. It's got a nice long covering over it for a good ways. I'd say like, I don't know, 3 feet. So that's cool. We'll go ahead and wind it back in here. I'm gonna stand back here and wind it back in. Wow, that's kind of nice. Now it does kind of have a float to it right after I release the button. It does kind of still spool, but I'm sure it wouldn't do that if you had a giant load against it. So that's pretty cool. So here it is, guys. We're gonna come out with a later video to put this thing to the test. We're gonna pull my F350 with it and see how it does. And maybe something else. We need some recommendations in the comments. Thanks for watching, guys, and stay tuned for the next winch video. Thanks again.